Have you ever heard that saying, let nature run its course? Usually applied when trying to intervene with some sort of a wildlife. You see a sick animal and they tell you, don't touch it, don't intervene, let the birds find their mother, let the mother find their children, don't touch those kittens. The turtles that have gone astray, they head towards the city rather than the moon. Let nature run its course. They love saying that thing. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't that interesting? Because, that statement should be applied to wildlife because, humans, we tend to mess up everything. We put our nose when it does not belong and we ruin the animals, we ruin wildlife, we ruin nature, we ruin the forests. They used to say that fires should be allowed to burn because that's how nature purges itself. It has to burn all of these old leaves, these dead plants in order to make room for the new. But now it seems that we're suppressing every small fire that breaks out. We panic. Well, if we keep suppressing all the small fires, it's inevitable that the big one will emerge, as does happen every decade or more. But the point being is that this statement, let nature run its course, should be applied to nature, wildlife, plant life. But for whatever reason, it seems that more than wildlife and plant life, we tend to apply that to human life. And isn't that interesting? That when you see your brother in need, instead of helping them, you just ignore him and let nature run its course. Now, sure, it's easy to point the fingers at India, blame the religious system with the caste system, karma, whatever, but how are you any different? If you actually did what you were supposed to do, which is not let nature run its course in the case of human beings, but to help your brother, to love your neighbor as yourself, to self-sacrifice, to give off yourself for the benefit of others, there would be no people that are in lack, in need, without a house, without proper food or clothing, living in downtown Union stations and under all sorts of bus depots. But what's even more interesting is not only you apply this principle of let nature run its course in the case of people, you do not apply it in the case of animals. Don't get me started about your kittens. Cats are pest control. They're supposed to go after pests. But you've fattened them up so much that they're so fat and lazy they don't even get off of their butt to kill a rat that's now wreaking havoc in your basement. See, where I live, we have plenty of street cats, but they're not really street cats, they're more of a yard cat, because they live in people's yards and they're being fed. There's a woman that comes up every morning with a whole bunch of cat food. She must spend like $2,000 a month on that cat food. That stuff is expensive. But she feeds them every day. So you think they care? You think they're hungry to go after rats? So of course we have rats. And why would you be surprised when you keep feeding those cats? They're supposed to eat the rats, but why would they work for their food when you've messed up their nature? You're supposed to let nature run its course. If they starve to death, they starve. Well, they're wild animals. Let them hunt. That's how they learn. But we've domesticated the wildlife and we're trying to unravel human life. Does that make sense? It doesn't, does it? The higher form of life, which is human. By all measures, whether you're a man of faith, believing we are created in God's image, or whether you're an evolutionist. Don't you believe that we are the acme of evolution? After all, we are the most intelligent. No other creature has our abilities of creation. Well, we are created in the image of the Creator. So, shouldn't you get involved with other people's lives when you see them down? You see somebody hurting, shouldn't you get out of your way to help them? Give them a ride? Give them some food? Look after them? Tend to their wounds? Don't you care? But most people would much rather help a puppy. You save a puppy, you adopt a puppy, instead of those poor miserable orphans and those babies left in the streets to die. Because that is how sick and perverted you are. That is what we have become. Let nature run its course. Well, in your case, we are gonna let God's nature run its course, because that will end in your demise due to your wickedness and your own choice. No one is gonna rob you of your choice. See, the Lord puts up road signs. He tells you where to go, He tells you where not to go, and then He gives you the choice whether to obey or not. He's not like a man. A man would force you. A man would beat you up with a stick to make sure you choose what he wants you to choose. Not God. No, the Lord loves you too much. He's not a tyrant like a man. He allows you to choose. Are you gonna be a good man or are you gonna be an evil man? Choice is yours. Be very careful and choose wisely, because the consequences are severe and eternal. Choose well. And do not let nature run its course.